Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 5 Day Workshop Escape the Matrix with Sheena Cantar. We are thrilled to have you back to day 4. I'm Charm Segales, one of the success ambassadors and the marketing head of the Cantar Academy, and your host for the entire week. We are down to day 4, and for those who haven't watched the live broadcast for the previous days, we have all the recordings available in the guide section. You're in for another treat. This is again one of my absolute favorite lessons. Each and every lesson has completely transformed my life, and I'm so thrilled for you to be able to hear it today. Get your pen and paper ready. We got a special guest coming up today. This is so phenomenal and it is so good. And for those of you who just tuned in for the first time today, introduce yourself and let us know of the questions that you want to ask this special guest that we will be having tonight. So I'll have Karen and Paul do some recap for the previous days. So Karen and Paul.
Thank you,
Hello,
Charm.
everybody. Thanks, Charm.
Hi,
Hi,
Karen.
everybody. Hi,
You're-
Paul.
You're traveling again, aren't you? You're always having meetings, you are. You're more like lock out rather than lock in.
I'm always on the road, so
That's right. That's
hence
good.
the headphones. I look like I'm going to fly a plane. So yes, I am traveling, and there might be a bit of background noise, guys, but hopefully we'll keep it to a minimum. So we hope you're enjoying this week, and thanks for being with us today on this day 4 and our special guest. So we just want to talk a little bit about this week and how powerful and amazing and exciting it's been, and we'd love to put in the chat your comments.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I was going to ask you, Karen, is when you because we were talking about goal setting, obviously with Sheena at the beginning of the week. When you first started the program and someone said to you, okay, we want you to figure out a goal, and people will say, oh yeah, well, we've done goal setting before, we've done all that, and then we'd explain to them, well, yeah, but forget about the how. That just forget about the how. When you first heard that, how did that sound to you? How did you feel?
The first thing I thought was, how? How do I forget about the how?
It is, is it?
Yeah, what is all that about? What I can't even fathom that. Because I was always in the how. I was always in this figuring it out for myself. And that's not the place to be. And this journey is about understanding that and learning it. Because if you're in the how, you are where you are. You don't know what you don't know. And if you feel stuck in that place, then you are stuck. So what about you, Paul? What did you think?
I when I first started the program, and it just reminds me when I was listening to everything this week, and I mean, obviously when Sheena, and yourself included, whenever you guys are saying things, we've never got the program, we think we've got it, but we haven't got it. Sheena was saying that to me just the other day. And it literally is a program for your life. It's where you can just continually get better, and it keeps you on your journey. And there's always more. But the great thing I always feel is that it's a wonderful platform. It's like, for me, it was like the key that unlocked all the books that I'd ever read, and thought the books were great, but I couldn't quite put all the dots together. And this was like the key to unlock. All of a sudden I could understand them. So that was always the big thing for me. But what about I mean, self-image? I mean, I know you do a lot of cool stuff. I'm not, because you know about banking, you know about all sorts of business, and when you first started, I as on the outside, I think your self-image would be there already. But what was it like for you when you first started working on the section for self-image?
Well, I knew I needed to do a lot of work, and I think I was always at that place where I had to grow a little bit and then feel around if that was good for me, and then I knew that I had more. Like it was just a limitless growth. It was just like grow. Oh, there's more to grow into. Grow, and that's the exciting part. And you're just like, oh my goodness, it's just such it's an adventure for me. And yeah, I mean, I thought I had like the image, but secretly, when we're in bed at night with ourselves and outside, and I would say there's a big gap. What about you?
Well, it's a very interesting question, because for me, I had a job at the time and I was using my job as my image. So I was hiding behind it. And when I found that came to an end, I found that, I thought I was my job. And I think a lot of people are like that. Whereas you can actually realize through this program that you have your own self-image, your own authentic self. And you're not working within, these paradigms of what you think you should be. And this was one thing for the program when it comes to self-image. Everything, if you ever want to know how your self-image is, look at your results. And my results kept telling me, well, hey, you got the right self-image, because the results aren't coming through. And that's a big lesson I've always learned now. And it's always working on that self-image and finding yourself in the flow and getting yourself in harmony with what you truly love to do. And that's not always an easy part of the journey, but it's well worth putting in the work. And when you get there, it's amazing.
So true. It is. Everything you just said is perfectly right, in terms of my experience. But I just want to, what do you think, Paul, holds people back from moving forward with this?
That is a really good question. I mean, at the end of the day, Sheena, has covered it when she was talking about paradigms and what we call the knowing doing gap. And, for years we'll think about, I know what I want to do. I know what I'd like to do. Even perhaps I believe I can do it. But for some reason, there's like this invisible bungee that's attached to us, and we stretch so far, and then we think, no, maybe not. And this will go on for years with 95% of the people.
Oh yeah.
Until they can find this program.
Yeah, it can be 5, 10, 20, 30 years for some people I've spoke to about it. And the thing is, I mean, you want so much in that place, and the thing is, you're always going to be in that place.
Yeah.
It's just that it's what you do about it.
Yeah.
It's what you do about it in this moment, isn't it?
We're going to hear about that tonight from the amazing Peggy Mccall. I can't believe we're on the same stage as Peggy Mccall. Anyway,
I'm so excited.
Because we've got Peggy coming, I've been watching the time, and I know that we need to give some space now for Charm for this to introduce this amazing person that's coming on. I'm really looking forward to listen to it. But it's been great to be on stage with you, Karen. Always.
Yeah, you too, Paul. And we hope you viewers, enjoy tonight. It is going to be transformational this week, and listen to Peggy. So thanks for joining us, and thank you so much, Peggy, for joining us as well.
Yeah, thank you. You're going to love it. Yeah. Over to you, Charm.
Thank you so much. So awesome story coming from Paul and Karen. I am still so amazed of hearing those stories from all of you. And now, the moment that we've been waiting for, our special guest coming up. I want to properly introduce Peggy Mccall with us. Peggy Mccall is a world-renowned wealth, business, and manifestation expert, as well as the New York Times best-selling author of the book, Your Destiny Switch, Master Your Key Emotions, and Attract the Life of Your Dreams. And for the past 25 plus years, using her Power Life script process along with her unique, intimate understanding of the universal laws, she's been showing people from around the globe how to manifest any result they desire in their personal and professional lives, from dream homes, soulmates to perfect health, multi-million dollar businesses. I was just reading her book a couple of months ago, and now I am sharing the stage with her. She has worked and been endorsed by some of the most renowned experts in the personal development field, including Bob Proctor, the likes of Neil Donald Walsh, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and so much more. Should I need to say more? It's my honor and my privilege to welcome the one and the only Peggy Mccall.
Hey, Charm. Thank you so much. It's so great to be here with you. And there's Paul. I was just thinking about how excited I am to be sharing the stage with Paul. Great book there, Paul. There we are. I'm working on the sequel. It's almost done.
Hi, Peggy. Great to meet you.
You too. That was great. Great opening. Hi, Sheena.
Hi, Peggy. Thank you so much for coming on. I just love, Charm could not smile anymore, could she? I mean, absolutely awesome.
A beautiful smile.
And I was watching you. And I was watching you as well in the background, and you were smiling as well. It's just so lovely to have you here. I was in red yesterday, so, you know, I've let you take the stage today with red and take over.
Red's the color of power.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so humbled and appreciate your time that you've taken out of your busy schedule to come and have a chat with us, because, you know, for everybody listening this week, you know, people have come on for a reason. They're looking for something, Peggy, aren't they? They wouldn't be watching this if they say, no, I'm fine, and then watch a masterclass and then leave and not have actually anything to come through. And the first time I met you in person was at my first training as a PGI consultant. And there's one slide that you put up there, and it sticks with me, and I put it on everything that I do. And it's make excuses or make money.
Absolutely. Which one do you choose?
I know, but when you put that up, Peggy, I couldn't make another excuse again.
Good for you.
That's it. So thank you. I literally would go to say something, then I go, no, that's an excuse. Oh, I just have to say yes, and then see how it works out. So thank you so much.
Powerful awareness is. You know, when you develop that awareness, I mean, one of the quotes that I have in one of my books is awareness is like light is to a dark room. Like you turn the light switch on and all of a sudden you can see. When you decide to be aware, not judgmental, not critical, but simply aware for the sake of noticing so that you can do something about it.
That has been an amazing journey, Peggy. I would say in the last 6 months, noticing that judgment that I had. And that is something that it cuts through you like a knife whenever you start to realize it, and then to turn it across and to keep aware of observing and witnessing and allowing. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's the freedom. So that's actually probably escaping the matrix as well, isn't it?
It's totally, it certainly is. Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're hardest on ourselves more than anyone else. And I'm always saying to my clients, be easy on yourself, be easy on yourself. I'm saying that to myself as well, because, you know, we know better, but don't do the things. You've heard Bob talk about that, right? You know, when he went in the Navy, you know, when he started doing things that weren't right, and he was told, like, why are you doing that? You know better. Yeah, I do. You know, when he was a child and his mother would say, why are you doing that, Bobby? You know better. Yeah, I do. It's true. We know better, but don't always do better.
I know I'm doing that at the moment with my son, and I can hear it in my head. And then my partner will say something. I went, it's a paradigm. It's a self-image. Like I can't do anything about a self-image. Just as you mentioned Bob there, how was it that you met Bob? How did Bob come into your life?
Well, I met him 43 years ago, and I was 20 at the time. I had just turned 20. And I was working for a company in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That's where I was born and raised. I live in Ottawa now. And the company that I worked for had hired Bob to come in and do a keynote event. You know what's fascinating? Not a lot of people know this, Sheena, But Bob had actually quit the business at that point. He wasn't going to do any more seminars. He was down in Atlanta. And there was a gentleman that worked for the company that I worked for that managed to find him. He hunted him down and found him and said, Bob, I really need you to do these seminars for our employees. And he's like, nah, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not in that business. But something that he said convinced Bob to come and do the seminar. And I'm so glad he did, because when he got on stage, I mean, it just literally changed my life, because I was in a very negative state. And, not even aware that there was a better opportunity for me or a better life for me, and that I was in control of my life. And so when he started to speak, I was sitting there and my mouth was wide open, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is remarkable. And I just decided that at that point, I dedicate my life to this study. And it's been 43 years since I met Bob. We become friends. We ran a business together for a number of years. He's still my mentor to this day, and I consider him the greatest teacher on the planet.
And that's one of the things you said about, like still studying this stuff. And that's where, Bob says is that he's only just scratching the surface. And I think that's where, when I first started doing personal development, that I thought I knew it all, because I had the answer for everything.
Good for you.
as Paul said, results don't lie. So
Right.
clearly you didn't have the answer for everything, Sheena. And then I've also been asked, what do you still do affirmations? Do you still do gratitude? And I go, oh my goodness, that's one of the things I learned, was to be humble enough to go, I'm changing my life moment by moment.
Right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, people ask me all the time, like, do you do any of these things anymore? It's like, are you kidding? Of course. We're either growing or we're dying. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, I'm totally into simplicity. I love to help people have the simplistic understanding, because when you understand it, then you can apply it. But you're either getting better or getting worse. So wake up every day and decide which side of that equation do you want to be on. If you're on the side of getting better, which I suspect anybody that's here or anybody that's listening to this is on that side, which is wonderful, but there's work involved. And the paradigms, as you know from Bob's teaching, the moment you decide to do something different, the moment you decide to create something extraordinary in your life, even when you don't know how, then the paradigms will try and pull you back. As Bob says, they put up a royal battle and they fight you. And what he also says, they will continue to fight you. And a lot of people don't get that. They don't understand that. What do you mean they'll continue to fight you? They will. I mean, I've been at this for a long time. And as you know, I just went through a health experience, and my paradigms were, putting up a royal battle. But I knew what it was, had the awareness, and of course, overcame, that experience. So overrode them.
So what was your greatest learning? Because I was going to, ask you about that. So you had a challenging year last year. What was the growth that you learned about yourself? Because like you say, we're always growing, and that was going to be a huge paradigm that was probably awakened to you there. What was that growth in you?
Yeah, just for everyone listening, like, I was diagnosed with cancer last year of my neck and of my tongue. And so I can still hear it in my voice. My voice does sound a little bit weird, and I just muted myself because I was coughing there. So it's still a little bit of the side effects from radiation treatments there. But when I was diagnosed, and I mean, I was shocked, to be honest. I really was. I was like, me? I'm a really healthy person, very positive, and I always declare how healthy I am. So it was a real surprise. But I looked at it as a blessing. I knew there'd be some blessing in it. And I remember the oncologist saying to me, there's going to be parts of this that are unpleasant. Well, there were parts of it that was a living hell. I mean, really, it really was. Like when I had to get a stomach tube put in, and I was eating out of a tube for 5 straight weeks. The day that I woke up and I was supposed to go in for another radiation treatment, and I could not stop vomiting. I mean, I was just vomiting nonstop. I was losing weight like crazy, and I was weak. And I said to my husband, you got to call an ambulance. I knew I needed some serious help, and landed in the hospital for 2 straight weeks. So the blessings, they were very evident right from the beginning. But I will say this, and this is important for people to understand. You've talked this week about identity and about self-image and about creating that identity that really matches the kind of life that you desire. Like, I thought a lot about that as well. I didn't identify myself as someone with cancer or a cancer patient or somebody who was necessarily suffering, even though, you know, I was going through what I was going through. It's almost like I created an out of body experience, but it was more like an out of mind experience. So I just decided I'm going to step back as an observer, and I'm going to look for and find and just wrap my loving arms around all the blessings that are in this experience. And there were so many blessings. And one of the blessings that I found is that I feel I've been playing too small. And I decided that I am going to make a bigger impact in the world. And I've been at this for a long time. I've written 19 books. I'm almost finished my 20th book now. And, you know, a lot of people who get to the point where they're in their 60s, or even Bob, you know, being in his 80s, they think about doing this thing called retire. My husband retired a number of years ago. He was very young when he retired. And I love what I do so much. I absolutely love it. And I love it because I love the positive impact it has on other people's lives. And so I just made a decision. I'm stepping up my game. I'm going to serve more and more people in positive and beneficial ways in this world. And so in one way, it almost lit a fire within me, which you wouldn't even expect, you know, like some people might put the fire out, but not for me. It actually lit a fire within me. And when I was in the hospital, as an example, and, you know, you're in a hospital, it's kind of loud. There's lots of noise going on and machines beeping and loudspeakers going off. And they were coming in every 4 hours to administer, you know, medication and things like that. So not a lot of sleeping going on. But I had my iPad, my laptop, my iPhone. I had 2 sets of earbuds. I had noise canceling headphones if I got tired of having my earbuds. And I would just feed my mind. And I would feed my mind for hours and hours and hours a day. And what I also felt very strongly is because I had gone through that experience, it was going to give me a firsthand experience of understanding what other people go through. You see, when I think about my childhood and the abuse that I had, and I was suicidal. I mean, I really, if anyone's read Savvy Wisdom, which is it's a fiction book. It's a parable based on my life meeting Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor is this character called Savvy. And so it starts with this girl who goes to the park because she wants to kill herself. Well, that was me. And so I'm blessed that experience. I bless what I went through. I bless the abuse, the dysfunction, because I understand what it's like. I know what it's like to be in emotional pain. I know what it's like to suffer. And so I also know what it's like to turn it around and to override those paradigms that are trying to pull you back. And so this health, I call it my health challenge. This health challenge ended up being another wonderful opportunity for me to understand what it's like when somebody gets a diagnosis. Because when I was first told, you know, you have cancer, it was from a biopsy that they did from a lump in my neck. And then when I went to the oncologist to talk more about it, they said, well, there's lumps on this side, there's lumps on that side, it's in your tongue. It's like, what? I mean, it was just such a surprise. But then they said, we don't know where the source is. It's somewhere else in your body. You know, could be in your uterus, could be in your lungs, could be here, could be there. And, you know, the unknown I found to be the scariest part of it all. And, but I had to override that. I had to manage that. I had to take the thoughts and the feelings that would rise up with fear and change it. And I would do that using what I call switching techniques. And we mentioned Your Destiny Switch, which is my New York Times bestseller and one of the biggest selling books that I've ever released. And I talked about switching techniques. And switching techniques are essentially taking yourself away from the negative and the destructive ideas or thoughts or feelings over to a place that's positive and uplifting and encouraging and empowering. And so I had to do that multiple times. There's a great book by Dr. Joseph Murphy that I love called Master Key to Wealth. And in that book, Dr. Joseph Murphy says, if you find yourself thinking a negative thought 50 times an hour, reverse it. And that's it. Like, people don't realize that there's this dialogue going on in your mind that's generating these feelings that are going on within you, created from the paradigms that have already been established. They're already been like firmly impressed in your subconscious mind, but you can override it. You can change it. And you have to be aware. You have to have the awareness and know enough that if and when you're thinking a negative thought or feeling a negative feeling, you're in destructive mode. And if that's what you want, hang out there, but I don't think it's what you want. Get out of there as fast as humanly possible. So I was heavily involved in utilizing my switching techniques. I was focused only on what I desired. And I was focused on living and being in a completely healthy body. And Sheena, I don't know if you know this or not, but I had a test done this week on Tuesday. And the test was to confirm whether the cancer was gone or not. And the results came in. And my oncologist called me today to tell me that it's gone. It's completely gone. The first thing she said is, I have great news for you. You are completely cancer-free. I already had that conversation with her long before my phone rang. Do you know what I mean? I created it in advance. So this is what you can do. So every opportunity and I call it an opportunity, every challenge, adversity, everything that you go through comes with gifts. It comes with blessings, but you got to be aware to look for them, to find them and use them for good.
My goodness, Peggy, that was just so inspirational. That is the thing, is about deciding that's what I've been telling my clients, decide the outcome before you take the action,
right?
Because we're so busy, action, doing. And the more you do, the more there is to do. And I didn't really, I was that person, and I'm sure most people here as well. And I'm actually learning and Charm has been really, really great in helping me in stepping back and allowing them to do, and for me to have more of a visionary. And that's the thing about deciding the outcome before I take the action. And, she's actually helped me give that time. So, beautiful. Wow, just it's like as if we had the same thought process today, because that's exactly what I was thinking in my head about, we'll bless this circumstance. Absolutely bless it. What's this circumstance bringing to me right now? And I really felt the humbleness and appreciation of life itself.
So true.
Because I could feel it. And yet I'm having support from other people. And I'm just saying, listen, it's okay. I feel appreciation, and I actually feel blessed. It's nothing to what you've been through yourself there. But wow, Peggy, thank you so much for sharing that. That was amazing. And I love the destiny switch. I love that. We have this saying in our house, and it's just like, flip the switch.
Yeah, I was chatting with Bob the other day, actually, and his new book, Change Your Life, Change Your Paradigm, has a universal light switch on it, but it's down. And I said, I held up the books and I said, look, Bob, my book, Your Destiny Switch, has a universal light switch. Your book has a universal light switch. Mine's on, yours off. What's up with that?
Well, you can only know that it's on if it's been off.
That's true. Absolutely true. And,
yeah.
Another blessing is, I mentioned I'm writing the sequel to Savvy Wisdom 2. And in the book, Sophie's going to get a diagnosis of cancer. And it's fabulous. I have loved writing fiction. I've previously had 18 nonfiction books. So it's been a blast, switching genres and writing fiction. And another blessing of going through an experience is, you're up close and personal. You know what that's like. It's very, very, clear in your mind as you're writing about it. And that's what a lot of people do, is they write about things that they know, or write about experiences that they have had, whether they're writing fiction or nonfiction, either way. But I think that the real message there with all of that and with what I went through is, find a way to serve other people. Use it for good. Whether it's good for you or good for others, or both, even better.
That is, yes, it's absolutely amazing. That's one of the things that I'm learning more and more. I didn't realize that was the journey that I was going to have whenever I started to work with Bob. That actually the journey, it was like journey through self to myself, thinking I was looking for myself, to realize that there was no self, that there's only one self, and we're all just one, and we're all, it's the serving of everybody else. That's whenever you receive, just right at that moment in time. So it's been a wonderful journey. And speaking about your books, because one of the things we talk about is when people look at how much they're going to pay for things, and I absolutely loved it whenever you did that book, Make a Million Look Small. Do you want to share that? That's like, because you've got so many stories, Peggy, and that's what makes it, when people come and work with you, that you understand that journey. It's not like you learned it from a book and then you just off you go. It's literally life experience that you're sharing. So I mean, it's a wonderful story that you have with Bob. I think that was the conversation, wasn't it? How did you make $1 million look small?
Yeah, and that's so Bob and I were chatting that we're going back a number of years now, and my husband Denny and I were first together at that time. We've been together, we met 18 years ago now, but we were very early in our relationship. And Denny's a very left brain analytical thinker. He was previously a pilot in the military, and he had that job for 30 years. And I'm very much right brain and more emotional. And we're very different, but yet we love and respect and honor each other. And so we had moved into a home that I wasn't happy with. I knew we weren't going to stay there. We had bought it rather quickly. And within a couple of days, we're already discussing moving. And so we had put our house on the market, actually several months after we moved in, but we put it on the market, and it was in a slow market at the time. It had been on the market for quite a while, but I was in the space of, I'm acting as if, what I desire is already being done. So I was actively looking for our next home. So I found this home. It was online, and I sent the link to my husband to take a look at it. We're in the same room when I did it. He's got his laptop and I have my laptop. And the first thing he did was he looked at the price tag. Now, I don't look at price tags. Bob taught me that years ago. Don't look at the price tags. The question that you ask yourself is, do you want it? Right? Because if you want something, you're going to find a way. And plus, the universe is going to line up when you get in harmony with what it is that you desire. So I sent the link over to Denny, and he looks at it and he's like, did you see the price tag? I mean, he was like a little bent out of shape, right? And it was well over $1 million more than the one that we're in. And so he asked questions that a logical person would ask, like, where's the money going to come from? And I would answer the questions in a Bob kind of style, wherever it is now, because that's what he would say. He's told stories about that. And I also knew that's the way it works. That wasn't the first place that I bought where I didn't have the money to buy it. And I had already stretched myself in many different times, and it always worked out because I understand the law and I work in harmony with the laws. So when I sent it to him and he was like, little bent out of shape about the price tag, I was talking to Bob about this house, and he said, well, if you want the house, get the house. And I said, well, it is $1 million more than the one we're in. He goes, you're the only one standing in your way. He said, make $1 million look small. You know how to do this. And he was like, so right. He was so absolutely right. And you know how he gets a calculator out and he does this thing he calls reduce it to the ridiculous. I was already online. I've been online since 1995. And I was one of the first people to create courses online and teach online, like way back when. And so he said, create another course, and you get 1,000 people that pay you $1,000. There's $1 million. And I was actually working on a manifestation course at that time, which he didn't know, he wasn't aware of. And so it's like, yeah, you're absolutely right. And so I decided I'm just going to make it look small. And so I called our realtor and I said, let's go see that house. And I said, bring the paperwork with you because we're going to buy it. And he's like, oh, Peggy. And he was a little bit like my husband, a little bit left brain analytical. You haven't even sold your house yet. What are you doing? And I said, listen, bring the paperwork. And so we went to see the house, and I knew right away we were going to buy it. I just knew it. And so we wrote up an offer that day, like right there where we were. And I came home and I wrote on a little index card, I'm so happy and grateful now that I bought, this home. And I said that we firmed up the deal within 2 weeks of the purchase, which meant that we sold our previous home. And so we ended up selling it within 12 days. So it all worked out really, really well. I launched my program and brought in millions of dollars, millions upon millions of dollars. I think I ended up generating around 5 million from that conversation that was initiated with Bob Proctor. Just over 5 million is what I ended up bringing in from that. So, here's a quote that I think is really relevant to what we're talking about right now. And it's straight out of Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill said this. He said, no more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand prosperity and abundance than it is to accept misery and poverty. So if you think about that for a moment, like really think about it, no more effort. The same effort is required to generate 100,000 a year as it is to generate 10 million a year the same effort. There's no more effort required. What do you have to do? You have to, set your mind on a goal. You have to commit yourself to it. You have to see yourself experiencing it, which is alignment, right? You have to be in that energy every single day. You've got to have the faith, build the faith. You don't have to know how it's going to happen, but you absolutely must know it has already happened. You live from the goal and it's going to manifest. So whether you're looking to generate, $10,000 a year, $100,000 a year, or $10 million a year, same steps. It's the same process. So there's no more effort required. And it's absolutely fascinating when, the lights go on and when you realize like, oh my goodness, that's so true. But what happens for people is when they set objectives or set a goal to generate $1 million or more, their paradigms start, putting up the royal battle. And they start listening to the paradigm right away. And they allow the paradigm to win, to pull them right back to where they are. They've stepped forward. They're feeling that uncertainty. They're feeling that discomfort, but they're not willing to keep going until it gets to a point where you'll feel it naturally. Now, you won't feel it naturally in the beginning because you've never done it before. You've never accomplished that before. But when you condition yourself through repetition, and that's what I was doing, just condition myself. I saw myself with it. And it doesn't have to take a long period of time either. You can do it in a heartbeat just by making that decision. Now that my wish is fulfilled, how do I feel? Right? I have that question on a block right here on my desk. Now that my wish is fulfilled, how do I feel? I put it right beside my bed. And that's straight out of Neville Goddard's work. Mm-hmm. And there was a study that was done to say that whatever you're giving your attention to just before you drift off into sleep at night is what's going to show up in your life 66% of the time. 2/3 of your life is going to show up. What most people do when they go to bed, you get quiet. Karen was talking about that earlier. You get quiet. You're in the quiet of your mind. What happens? They start to worry. So they start to think about what's not working, the money they don't have. And then they got all emotionally involved in that, drift off into sleep. Boom. They've just impressed that into their subconscious mind. You've got to change that habit. You got to change it to one that's going to support you and have you experiencing more of what you want.
I just absolutely love that. I'm just sitting listening. I could just listen to Peggy Mccall all day. It's awesome. I mean, that I was just thinking about, whenever the times you were in hospital then, and about how you had to make that choice every single probably moment.
Oh my God.
When you said about, when you woke up every morning and you can make that choice, and you had to make that choice, but it's moment by moment choice, isn't it?
Mm.
And it hasn't been easy, but yeah.
It wasn't. It was the toughest. Yeah. It was the toughest experience of my life. It really was. And I've had some tough ones, some really, really tough ones. And you said, wake up in the morning. I wasn't waking up in the morning because I wasn't sleeping, so I would just drift in and out of little naps, throughout the day. Because, when they put that stomach tube in me, they said, you have to sit up to sleep. Sit up. Who sits up to sleep? My husband does, actually. He can sit up to sleep. But it was a constant, repetition. Bob actually created a personalized audio for me as well to listen to. And you're familiar with my Power Life script process. I just listened to it over and over and over and over again. Sandy Gallagher made me 2 audios, actually. And one was just her talking to me about being in my healthy body. And the other one she created, she went into Thomas Troward's work. And she pulled out all these great lessons on health and created a recording. And she sent that to me. I was so blown away by her generosity. So I had either Bob I was listening to, or Sandy, or myself. I mean, I rotate, right? Just to have the variety of the different things that I was listening. But I was feeding my mind with things that I knew would only support me.
Yeah, it's interesting because some people may not understand what the Power Life script is. I have to be careful how I said, Peggy, because in Northern Ireland I would say Power Life script, and then nobody would know what it was. So it's a Power Life script. Can you? I mean, we were talking about self-image yesterday, and it's one of the things, yes, that you encourage us to do. And can you explain what that is for people so they understand?
Yeah, absolutely. You see, we've got to reprogram our subconscious mind in order to, get in harmony with what we desire and change those paradigms. And that takes time. But I created a process back in the 1990s that just made it so easy. And what I call it the Power Life script, because we're powerful beings. And this gives you the power to create the life that you desire. So what you do is you start by writing out, what would you love? And I know earlier, Paul was talking about goals, goal setting. And so you write out, what would I love? If you could have, do, be, experience anything, get those paradigms out of the way, forget about the how, just what would you love? What would you love to experience? And you write all that out. And then you think about, what do I need to believe in order to have that? Because you got to build the belief system. That's the support system underneath it, right? Like my desk here is being supported by legs, right? That's holding it up. And that's what your beliefs are. They're going to hold you in the place of the experience of knowing that what you desire is already theirs. So what do you need to believe in order to have that? And then what does it feel like? Because you have to connect to the emotions of having that, right? Like feel, like really genuinely feel like that. I have used this process, just as I'm saying the words, to manifest my New York Times bestseller, to manifest the Jaguar convertible that I bought when I already had a Mercedes, our summer home, a place down south, magnificent 8-bedroom home. Like I have used this process to manifest anything and everything. My husband.
Yeah, I know that story too.
Right. And so you write out, in present tense, using only positive words, as if it's happened now, how amazing your life is. And it's for your eyes only. So it's not someone's going to criticize it or critique it, or the grammar's not right. Doesn't matter what the grammar is. And you write it out and then you check it, make sure that it's written properly based on what you would love to have, as if it's already here. So it's present tense. And then you record it. And I always suggest record it with lots of enthusiasm, like stand up. If you're saying that you're happy, say it and feel it. I am so happy and so grateful, and say the words and feel the words as you're recording it. And once it's recorded, all you have to do is, I put mine on my iPhone. It's also on my computer. Push play. Just push play. And you've heard Bob Proctor say this: you hear something over and over again, you will start to believe it, even if it's a lie, right? That's how our paradigms got there in the first place, through space-time repetition. So there's 2 known ways to change a paradigm. One is through an emotional impact. Second is through space-time repetition. And more people use space-time repetition to change their paradigms. And so that's what a Power Life script does. It's space-time repetition. You listening to you, talk about how wonderful your life is, and it's going into your subconscious mind. So I listen to mine. We'll take the dogs for a walk and I'll be listening to it. I'll be doing the laundry and listening to it. I'll, be making dinner and listening to it. And I'll be getting ready in the morning and listening to it. It's not like it's something additional you're adding to your day. Do it while you're doing other stuff. It's so easy to use and yet so powerful. And I started listening to my Power Life script in the 1990s, and it's absolutely changed my life in every way for the better. Use it for your income. Use it for anything that you want. There's a commercial on TV for this Frank's hot sauce with this little old lady. It says, try it on everything. And that's what I say about the Power Life script. Try it on everything.
I must be following your footsteps, Peggy, because I did manifest a man and I did manifest a house. So, but how my house came about was actually I drew it. I literally drew. I mean, my drawing is just, only I understood it, and the universe. Clearly nobody else actually understood what it was, and so I would draw it out every single day, and that's part of my story. So that's why I just love your story, and make a million look small, and then things just start to happen. So we're coming to the end. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. We've been on here half an hour. I can't believe the time absolutely flies. And I had loads of questions, and I thought, gosh, will we have time? And it's just literally, running over. But there's some people on here, so the program Thinking into Results, and there's some people on here who are sitting on the fence who say they haven't got the. See, Peggy, I haven't got any money either, because I've been there too, and I found the money, and so. It's like, what would your advice be when people are sitting on the fence towards something that could literally change their life?
Oh my goodness, I have goosebumps as you're asking me that question. It's like, don't hesitate. Like, sign up. It will change your life. It's like Bob's material has changed my life in every way. And of course, if I said that to Bob Proctor, he'll say, no, you changed it. But I changed it because of his depth of understanding, because of his guidance, because he knows what he's talking about. There's so many people on this planet today who can speak to incredible success because they stretch themselves, because they made a decision and found a way. If you want it, just decide right now, yes, I want it. Yes, this is what I desire to do. You're going to find a way. You'll absolutely find a way, but it's going to change your life. It really does. I can't even imagine where my life would be, or if my life would be here. Remember, I was suicidal. before I met Bob Proctor. Like, would I even be here if it wasn't for Bob? I'll tell you one thing, I certainly wouldn't be sitting in the financial situation, in the level of happiness that I am right now. I wouldn't have accomplished everything that I've accomplished if I had not made the decision many years ago. And when I met Bob that night that he spoke at my corporate event, he offered a program and he offered everyone in the audience to get involved. Well, I was already in debt. I'm a 20-year-old girl already, upside down financially. And I signed up. I thought I'm finding a way. Even if this puts my credit card over its limit, I'm going to do it, because the return has been exponential, absolutely exponential. You can't even describe, what it's like. And whether it's for a change in how you feel, there's no price you can put on that. To attract your soulmate, no price you can put on that. To live in your dream home, you can't put a price on that. To do work that's deeply meaningful, that you get up every day and you just can't wait to go to work. Like, it wasn't like that before when I was in the corporate world. Like, absolutely do it. Do it. Like, do it now. Don't wait another moment. Absolutely make the decision that you're going to invest in yourself, because that's who you're investing in. You're investing in yourself. The best investment you can ever make.
100%. And we've got 20 books to read, people, for everybody who's watching as well. You got to get through 20 books. I love the destination switch. So that's the one that, to pay attention to. I absolutely love that. So listen, Peggy, I absolutely appreciate it. And it's so lovely to see you looking so well. And I cannot wait till again that we can, because I know that you come to our consultant trainings. I don't even know when Canada is going to open its doors again, that we can all get.
Yeah, who knows?
So I'm really looking forward. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that and seeing you again in person. It will be an absolute privilege again. Thank you so much, Peggy, for coming on, and I appreciate your time and honor your time. So we're getting you away just 3 minutes later than I promised. And thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure. Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it.
I'll speak soon, Peggy. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Well. How awesome is Peggy? Isn't she just absolutely amazing? Couldn't you just listen to her all day? So listen, if you're sitting on the fence, this is the time. There is no other time. If we can just literally pull up a final presentation here, I want to just share a couple of things with you. So this is literally our 4th day. There is one more day that we've got. Now, what was it that Peggy was talking about? It was about affirmations and saying them with joy, with passion. What have we been doing all week? I'm so happy and grateful now. Money flows easily to me from multiple sources in increasing amounts in a continuous way. Imagine if you had that as your Power Life script. Imagine if you had, I was born rich. I deserve all of the wealth that is already mine. You have to be the one who steps forward on this. I've had people ask me, well, can you work with me? And then maybe when you work with me, Sheena, I'll find the money. I've done that with people before. It doesn't work. You have to come up with the money. You have everything inside of you. I absolutely promise you. Look at what Peggy did. She didn't go, I haven't got $1 million. Peggy said, okay, how can I make $1 million? She was just literally there, and then more actually came. But what did she do? What was really key? She made a demonstration. She stepped forward and she committed. Remember, we were talking about the committed decision. Remember, we spoke about that. It's the committed decision, is the demonstration. You must decide and take action at the same time. Why did you take the time out of your day to come and watch this masterclass? There's something that you're wanting. How many masterclasses are you going to watch until you actually get results? Watching these masterclasses are to raise your awareness. So when all of us do these masterclasses, it's to raise your awareness so that you can make the decision and make something happen. £6,000 for 6 months. That's the offer, and it finishes tomorrow. Tomorrow, this is finishing. Now, we're going to leave the lives up for all weekend, but tomorrow this offer is finishing. What are you going to do? Are you going to step in to learn to study what Bob taught Peggy? Oh my goodness. Imagine if you could just be like Peggy. Imagine if you're going through the worst situation of your life and you're able to choose to bless it. Remember, it's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not. And Peggy showed us that. That is the paradigm shift. That is escaping the matrix, to realize exactly what power that you are. Remember this again. I am so happy and grateful now. Money flows easily to me from multiple sources in increasing amounts in a continuous way. You were born rich. You deserve all the wealth. You. Yes, you. This is a team sport. Bob helped me. Look, Peggy's just helped me. And I want to help you. Peggy wants to help you. Wasn't it amazing to hear Peggy say that she's playing small? Oh my goodness. I think it's 56 million or something like that. And that's playing small for Peggy. Wow. You see, she's not going to stop. Remember, I drew my house to me. What do you want to draw to you? I wanted space. I wanted space. I wanted space. And I've got space. You can see that there. But you must make the committed decision. It is up to you. I cannot do that for you. You must. I'm standing at the door. I am here to help you. Can my team put the link in the box there for people that you can actually look at what this program is? Just sign up, make that commitment, make the commitment. Bob Proctor said to me, Sheena, borrow the money so you never have to borrow again. I've never had to. And just exactly what Peggy was saying, we've done this journey so many times, literally gone from here to there, gone from, oh my goodness, there isn't the money for this, to seeing the end and going, I see the results. This is what it is. And to repeat that over and over again. And then it happens and it is like magic. It will be done unto you. Did you notice actually in the Bible it says, ask, believe, receive? Do you notice that? It doesn't say work so hard that you're so exhausted and have no more time for anything else. Just as Peggy said, it takes no more effort to think of £6,000, to think of £6 million. Doesn't take any more effort. But your judgment makes it so. Now, I find that judgment thing, that didn't appear. I couldn't even see it for about 2 years, but now I see it. And that's escaping the matrix, is no judgment. Let me tell you a funny story. Is whenever I had COVID last year and I couldn't taste, and somebody gave me a glass of wine and said it was awful. I tasted it and I didn't have an opinion on it. And you know what I felt? Space. I felt the space of non-judgment. That's what COVID gave me as a blessing, was the space of non-judgment. I couldn't judge the wine, good or bad. It just was. Imagine if you could live life that way. Can you feel the difference in that? So we could say in this lipstick, I could say, I love this lipstick. That's effort. I can say, I hate this lipstick. That's effort. Or I can say, it's a lipstick. It's a lipstick. Do you feel the space in that? Can you feel that? The just isness of everything? That is pure love. That is pure joy. Not happy. You're being really happy. You'll be really sad. It's the law of polarity. What is it that you want? Why haven't you been able to figure this out on your own? Why? We're here. We're here. My team are here. Paul and Karen are here. Either book the call, Karen and Paul, put it in. But also what I've got tomorrow is I have got a Zoom, up close and personal. What does it really take? Where I deep dive into my story. Just like Peggy shared hers, I have got more to share with you about what it really takes. And I think you've seen some of that from Peggy today. It takes the will to be able to do this. But your goals have to be big enough. Your goals have to be big enough. You have to have that desire. Let me say to you, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? How much do you want it? How much? Put it in the chat. Is it a 10 out of 10? Do you feel it? Do you just go, oh, I'm making this work? Write it in the chat. I'm making this work. Can you feel that? Build up that feeling. Can you see it? What is it that you see? What is it that you see? Share it with us. Feel that feeling. Do you feel it? Feel it more and more. What do you want? Now, what if I was to say to you, take it all away? You can't have it. You can't have it. What does that make you feel like? Did you fight for it? Did you fight for what you want? Or did you fight for what you don't want? Which did you do just then? Your goal isn't big enough if you fought for what you don't want. If you argue with anything that we've been saying, you're all right. You're right. You're right. And it's okay to be right. But you can be another right on the other side. It takes no more effort. Your paradigms are in the way. Your paradigms of perception are in the way. Don't do logic. We don't want any logic. Do the illogical. Just as Peggy was saying, I keep putting myself into things. I don't have the money, and then I sign it, and then the next thing the money comes. And I giggle and I laugh and I marvel at how wonderful the universe is. I'm no longer afraid of that zero money, because money always comes. I've desensitized myself so many times that I'm not worried, and it's illogical. So remember this. The 2% is what you've been using before. Imagine using the 98%. Imagine. Can you imagine living your life 98% effortless? And all you have to do is make decisions and take inspired action. It's because what you're thinking will cause what you're feeling, which causes a vibration out into the universe, which causes an opposite reaction, an equal and opposite reaction, and that is your results. When you can take 100% responsibility of your results, and you know what that means? Never mentioning he, she, they, it. No, you. And only you can change your life. Don't rely on somebody else. Don't rely on them. You want to borrow money and say, I'll pay you back 10% interest within a year. It's more than what they're going to get in the bank. And let me tell you, I've got a few things that give you 15% a month. So there you go. You could actually do that and make money at the same time. But sure, that's up to you. Unless you're in, I'm standing at the door. You just got to come in. Then the magic happens. Then the magic happens. If you don't solve this, how is this going to impact other areas of your life? How long have you wanted this? Do not think, when I was in my 20s, I thought it would be sorted in my 30s. When I was in my 30s, I thought I'll have it sorted in my 40s. No. You got to do what Peggy said. The decision is now. As Peggy said, she'd goosebumps. For goodness sake, do not hesitate. Click on the link. Somebody's going to put it in the chat now. Click on that link and just join. Then come on the Zoom tomorrow, but at least you will have committed. I promise you, this is how we live our lives now. We literally sign and laugh because thinking, I have no clue where this money's coming from. I've done it with lots of different things. Who else is going to be affected if you don't stand up? And who's going to be affected when you do? Can you see the smiles on their faces? Can you? Whose smile affects you most? What would you love to do for somebody else? What would that feel in your body? But listen, this is what Peggy was talking about. This is what we spoke about yesterday. The first little character on the left-hand side, we have X-type thoughts, X-type vibrations, and X-type results. We think the same thing over and over again, 60,000 thoughts. Then you put something on your vision board, little character 2 there. And then that's a why vibe, that's a why thought. And it's okay because you haven't really entertained it. You're not taking yourself seriously. You're not actually seeing, I can actually have that. What if I said, let's take your annual salary and earn it monthly? You see, people say to me, oh, I want to earn $1 million. And then when I talk about, I said, do you feel it? Oh, yes, 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 I feel it. And then I say, what if we took your annual salary and made it monthly? How would your life change? And they go, oh God, can I really do that? You see, you didn't actually put this million into your subconscious. And so therefore nothing changed. Because when you do, that's when the kickoff starts. You have an XY vibration in your 98% in your subconscious, and it kicks off big time. That's the time that you go, yes, something's going to change. This is when you shift a paradigm. Or maybe you don't. And you go right back to bondage. You go right back to bondage. Please don't do that. I want you, just as Peggy says, actually, in all thy getting, get understanding. I want you to see where you are now, to feel the idea that you've got, to feel the fear of stepping forward. And then when you get through to the other side, that's when the freedom starts. But guess what? You're going to do it again, because just even signing up for this program can be that first stage of breaking through the terror barrier. That is the freedom I want you to have, because we want to do this over and over and over again. It doesn't stop. Life is for living. I told the situation that I was talking about with Peggy, about what's happening in our family right now, is about my brother. Now, when somebody is ready to pass on, and when you sit with them, and luckily he's sedated now, so he will sleep his way into the next world. And that's the thing to understand, is that he's 58 years old. Life is now. Not next week, not when you're 60. He's not even going to make it to 60. Life is now. Stop. Just stop stopping and step forward. Please step forward. Let me waken you up again. I'm so happy and grateful now. Money flows easily to me from multiple sources in increasing amounts in a continuous way. You were born rich. You have everything you need. I didn't understand this until I studied Thinking into Results. Are you ready to come on a journey with us? Are you ready to do that? Are you ready? If you are, just say yes, 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 yes. I don't care how many times you say it. Make a demonstration. Make the decision with where you are right now. In the now. If you're in worry and doubt, you're in the future. If you're in guilt and shame, you're in the past. Neither exist. There's only now. Make excuses or get results. Now, was what Peggy said on her title was Make Excuses or Make Money. Don't come with excuses. You're just not serving yourself. I don't need to hear them. I can spot an excuse a mile off. It's a yes or a no. Either way, it's a decision, and non-decision is a decision. Do it now. Decide. We're here, ready for you. The link is in the chat. Click on the link and bring this here. Bring this home today. And we're going to meet in the Ritz in London for everybody who signs up. And I'm in America in April. So for those of you in America, I will be around Atlanta and Florida, and I actually can't remember where else we're going, but I am there for 3 weeks. And so for the American people, we will be able to meet up somewhere. Won't that be exciting? Somebody needs to give me some ideas of what would be a contender to the Ritz in London. Who wants that? And we will sit and we will talk about your goals. I will share so many things with you. You will get access to a membership site. You're going to be with us for 6 months. But not only that, this program of Bob's, you're going to have that for life, for absolute life. Are you ready? Are you ready? I would love you to come and join us. We can just switch back to me now. There you go. I would love you to come and join us. And I just want one person to come in and just say goodbye to us. I didn't realize I'd gone over time. So Charm, thank you so much for summarizing everyone.
Thank you, Sheena. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Paul. And this is such an amazing journey for me. Here's my takeaway for today. I've got a lot of lessons for today, but one thing that stayed on my mind is you're the only one standing on your way. I am the only one standing in my way. It is normal to feel weak because that is when we realize we need help from others. As Peggy said, awareness followed by a decision. It's the key. And I love what Sheena said earlier. Decisions are very important. Nothing happens unless you make a decision. And if you are performing at a high level, you have to be a very quick decision maker. You've got to ask yourself, do I want it? For those of you who are in the fence watching us for the last 4 days, you have to decide. Ask yourself, do I want it? Do you want it? When I made the decision to join Sheena, honestly, I wanted to change my life by changing her life and bringing her my value in the table. And I've never imagined I will be sharing the screen over with Peggy. I don't know how it happened, but it just happened. Doing this live training, we have gone a long way, and I know we've touched lots of lives today. Earlier, I was seeing a lot of us joining. Until now, thank you. It was such an honor for me to open, host, and close the event formally for you. Okay? So, the great Sheena Cantar, she is a great woman, a great mentor, and a great coach. It was unwavering decision for me, and I took a chance and bet my 200% effort, my team, to help her scale her business. And I've been loving it since today, until today. Your why should always be stronger than your why not. As Sheena told about us earlier, she is the right person and she will definitely help you walk with your success. If you want to achieve big goals, you don't know the how, live it. Leave the how up to Sheena and the whole team. Leave it to us. We will definitely help you reach that in the shortest possible time ever. We have done it. Sheena have done it, and you could do it with our guidance, of course. She have helped past clients achieving great results. You've been seeing that we've been putting that out every after the session. And are you thinking, what if you are the next one we'll be putting in? Does that excite you? She said earlier, money, no money, same effort. What's holding you back? There's a big difference being interested and being committed. And if you want to create a quantum leap, you should be committed. And if we are interested, we'll just do whenever it's convenient. If you are sitting down there watching us for the last 4 days, you internalize, and by now, you know the things that you've been procrastinating. Be honest to yourself. Only results, not excuses. No more excuses. It's time. Fall in love with your goal, make a decision, commit to it, and decide quickly. Alignment. The top 1% of the world are quick decision makers. And it is your goal. You are the only one standing to yourself. We got to have to match our habits and beliefs with our goals. We do that by raising our paradigms and our vibrations. And we can only do that if we ask for help. Sheena is expert in building and bringing up your vibration. You can have all the opportunities in the world, but if you don't make a decision and don't take action, none of it matters. We have a special incentive coming up until tomorrow. She have officially announced it, and that's having an afternoon tea in the Ritz. Who's up for that challenge? You're gonna have to sign up, click on the link, decide, and join us for tomorrow. We'll have another awesome session, but this one is private because that's where you will release all your fears and doubts. And we are very willing to listen to it. Say it. We will help you out. And you are God's highest form of creation. Do not let something stop you from doing what you want, getting what you want. As the Bible says, ask, believe, receive. And as Bob Proctor says, you gotta have to make the decision. In one interview with Bob, he told us that the decision takes about 30 seconds for you to be a winner. This time, it's not 30 seconds anymore. You got 24 hours. That's until tomorrow to take advantage of the offer we are giving you. You gotta have to focus on how you can do it. 10,000, 100,000, same effort. And if you don't know what happens, you don't know what happens if you just let it go. Nothing happens if you don't take action. It's very important to make the first decision. That's one simple decision that will change and transform your life forever. And if you're going to ask for the decision, you are setting yourself to win 2022. Are you excited to share your testimonial by December 2022 on this group? We are for you. Okay. So this is the assignment for today. And we want to ask you one last question. How big do you want to grow? Like, how big do you really want to grow? Contemplate on that. Think on it. I hope you did your homework, your workbook. We'll see you tomorrow for an up close and personal with Sheena Cantar. And here, Sheena will be saying the final words to wrap up the whole week's event. It was such an awesome and an honor for me to share the screen and to be with you for the entire week. And see you on the other side. Have a great night. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
And I help people who want results. You've been putting in the work, but you're not seeing those results. Why is that? Come with me on this journey and let's find out together. I hit rock bottom and I thought it was my responsibility to change the world. But I didn't realise it was my responsibility to change me, and the world would then change for me and other people around me. I studied for so long. I had got myself to masters in business, coaching, but I wasn't getting any further. I was just working harder. So what happened was I went to a networking event and I met a girl who was studying with Bob Proctor. And I went, oh my goodness, I would just absolutely love to do that. And she was, well, this is the material that we have. And of course I knew everything because I'd studied everything and I had the answer for absolutely everything. But what I didn't realise was I had it all intellectually. I didn't have it experientially. And this was what she was explaining to me. Instead of making statements, I can't, I started asking questions. What if I could? Just imagine if. And so slowly but surely I turned the story round. I had a house in my mind. It was 1.8 million. And when I saw this house, I thought, this is my house. And then when I had a conversation with Bob, he said, well, if you do this, 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 and this, when you work for us, you could make 1.8 million. And I went, how did you know my number? So every morning I drew out my house, and so all I saw was the sun over the top of the building. I saw the stables over on the left-hand side. I'd even drawn a private jet. And so I drew all that, and I drew the driveway, and I drew 5 cars, and I drew the electric gates. And I would write joy, happiness, peace, love. And then I was invited to go ride a horse. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't really be doing this. So off we went to ride the horse, and I overheard a conversation. And if I hadn't have gone that day when I shouldn't have gone, I would never have heard the conversation and I wouldn't be in this house. So I overheard the conversation that this house was available, and 3 weeks later, we were in the house. But it was about 3 months later that I realised, oh, the sun is exactly where I drew it. Well, there's an airport, there's a private airport not so far away, so there's private jets that literally go past. The stables are exactly where I drew it, and room for 5 cars, there's room for 10 cars, and there's the electric gate. So it was literally about 3 months later that I'd realised I did it. So that is proper manifestation. Here's the thing, you're doing it every day, except you tend to bring the things you don't want because you complain, because you worry, and then you doubt yourself, and then you second guess yourself, and then you get all anxious. And what we learn is to bring you back to centre so that then you can go in whatever direction you want to go. I'm here to guide you through the rubbish, because things will come up and you will want to shrink, and I take you back out again. I go, it's okay, I've been on this journey, this is normal. And when I say that to people, they go, oh, I thought I was going mad. And I went, yeah, so did I. And so thinking into results is not a program, it's a way of life. My clients all have that instilled in them. My clients are absolutely wonderful. I love every single one of them. You can have anything you want, but it takes practice. It's like a muscle. And you may think, well, how long does it take to get results? 6 months. It could take you 2 years. It could take you 10 years. What are you doing for the next 10 years? You may as well do this. Not only do you change your life, but you change the lives of everybody around you. Troubles? What troubles? They were all opportunities to grow. And you either step into them or you shrink. So if people are ready to step into them, I'll take you on that journey. I mean, if you're not, that's okay. But it feels painful here because you think you're in your comfort zone. If you're watching this video, you're not in your comfort zone because you're looking for something and it feels uncomfortable. So it's not comfortable staying there, but it's scary to go to the other side. Tell me what you want and I'll show you how to get it. If you are not where you want to be, then come and have a chat with me and let me take you on this journey. At least start the conversation. So if you're ready, you're willing, and you're able, then book a call with me and we'll discuss what's best for you going forward.